Welcome to the Weekly Social, folks. Everything Katy, Fulshear, Richmond, Texas. Today we have Allen Wynn with Beastmode Fitness and the lovely Priscilla Poff.
Thank you, Richard.
Yeah,
Thank you, Allen, for being here.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
We are so excited.
Yeah. Hey, tell us a little bit about yourself and your gym, sir.
Okay, I am originally from Virginia Beach, Virginia. I moved here in '99.
Welcome.
My dad died, but I decided that it was time for me to move on. I had just got out of the Army, so I was used to being out on my own. And a friend of mine lived in Sugar Land, so it was like, hey, going out to Sugar Land, and I put everything into my neon and I hit the road.
Wow.
Man,
Thank you for your service, by the way.
Thank you.
I
Thank
know
you.
you're a veteran. Thank you so much.
Wow.
So from there, I got my degree, got into healthcare, and I think like many other people, I started to get old, and I had a kind of a midlife crisis. I didn't want to do down that road anymore. So I decided I was going to go back to what I love to do. I had a coaching business before I got my degree, and I decided to go back into coaching. So I did that for the next 7-8 years or so.
Coaching sports? Or?
I'm more of my background's in bodybuilding.
Okay.
So I was more of a weight loss coach, a fitness coach, and body transformation, stuff like that. And
I'm going to pick your brain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean,
it's easy.
But it's, it's interesting that but it kind of coincides together that you have that degree and doing the coaching and everything.
Right.
I mean, that all works together, and that really creates more value. You're
Right.
more value to those people that you're working with.
I heard a quote from Bill Nye, the Science Guy. He said, "Everyone you meet knows something that you don't." So you try to surround yourself with people who know something that you don't. And the whole time I was in healthcare, I kept training. I was a competitive bodybuilder. I was getting ready for my pro card, and you just learn more and more about health and nutrition. And I went and got certified as a nutritionist, and you pick up these skills and knowledge that I thought was just going to help me be a better bodybuilder. I never really thought that I was going to ever use them to help somebody else. So eventually, when I decided I didn't want to do healthcare anymore, I went to start doing my own personal training again, and I went to Lifetime, and I was there for 90 days, and I hated it.
Oh.
I'm like,
Okay, so you worked for them.
Yes.
Okay.
And it really wasn't me. I'm way more into the more personal side of it and not the sales side.
It's more of a corporate environment.
Hey, they do their thing. I'm not knocking anything they do, but
Right.
it was
Everybody's
way
got
more
their own business plan.
Right, it was-
Yours is just different.
much better for me to do my own thing. So
That's
I just
awesome.
branched out, and I went to a smaller gym, and I was there for about 7-8 years or so, 9 years.
Okay.
And then a thing called COVID hit. Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
It kind of wrecked my whole coaching business.
Mm-hmm.
Took down a lot of businesses in that time frame.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
So, about reinventing myself and stuff like that. And so before that, and people ask like, how did I get to the point where I wanted to open a gym? Well, in 2019, I'm cruising along in this gym, and I had night classes, and I just got done, finished up with this class, and one of my clients, shout out to Lauren, she was there with me when I was finishing up, and she said I started to repeat myself, and I got stuck on this joke and kept going over and over again. But to me, I thought everything was fine. Like nothing felt any different. And I do remember I tried to take a step and I stumbled. And she said, well, you need to sit down. And I was like, no, I'm fine. I need to finish cleaning up. I want to go home. And I went to step again, and I started to fall. And she grabbed me and pulled me back over, and she goes, if you fall, I can't pick you up. I was about 260 or so,
Wow.
265 at that time. And she goes, you need to sit down. And I think my ego would have killed me that night because I didn't want to admit that, like I'm a coach. I don't want to admit that I'm in trouble, like physically. So I went to go sit down and put my arm on the table, and I fell, and she pushed me back over. And I didn't realize it, but I was having a massive stroke. So she taught special ed kids, so she knew what the signs were. And she saw the face drop, and I went paralyzed on the left, but I didn't know I was paralyzed. And people ask me, what is it like to have a stroke? Well, it doesn't hurt. It feels like if you go to a house or a hotel and you wake up and you're disoriented, and it takes you a minute to get your orientation back to figure out where you are. Well, imagine going to a hotel or something and you're disoriented and it gets worse. From the part where you don't know where you are, you don't know your name, you don't know that you're in trouble. And that's why many people die from strokes or they don't ever come back, because you don't really realize you're in trouble because half your brain's not functioning. So, right.
Wow.
So, it's so she.
You're very fortunate.
But a great friend.
Yeah. So she sits me down and she tells me she's going to call 911. I was like, no, I don't want to call 911. And I think that I'm talking, but she goes, I was just going. So
she knew.
So she knew. So they called 911, and that's when the point I don't remember. I remember they came and gave me a shot, and then they.
Is that to counteract the stroke?
I don't know exactly what that shot was for, but I felt more, I can't say calm, but whatever it did, it made it so I wasn't so agitated, because like all this stuff is going on and I'm wanting to move, but like half my body's not working and I don't understand that I'm paralyzed.
Right.
So whatever they gave me a shot, I guess it calmed me down. And then they said, well, can you help us get you onto the gurney because you're kind of big? So I was like, I'm fine. And I go to stand up and I flop back down. I was like, I don't know why I can't stand, but, and so they came and helped me onto the gurney. I don't remember going to the hospital. I don't remember getting into the ambulance. I don't remember any of that. And eventually they get me to the hospital and they wheel me down, and there's this guy on the screen and he says that we're going to take you to get a MRI. And I'm like, okay. So I go.
Yeah.
And I remember going into this MRI thing. Anything I think of, like, wow, this looks like Independence Day, because the lights were all glowing on the top.
Sure.
And I'm thinking, okay, everything's cool, no big deal. And they go back there, they take the scan, they come back and tell me, okay, you're having a stroke. And I'm like, no, I'm not. No.
Could you talk again by this time?
I thought I was.
But you still really weren't.
That's the thing. Everything from your side of it's kind of like a prism, right?
Yeah.
Everything from your side, you think you're fine because your brain is functioning like you're fine, but what it's putting out isn't at all fine.
Okay.
It's disconnected from what's really happening.
Right. Like
Yeah.
You're kind of exactly.
Okay.
And they go through this whole list of telling me stuff, and then I'm sitting here, and it sounds like Charlie Brown to me. It's like wah 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 wah. And I'm thinking, like, I don't have no idea what he just said. And then Lauren says, give it to him. And I'm like, give me what? And so they give me this clot buster. But I learned after the fact, he was telling me, okay, we're going to give you a clot buster. But the problem with this is it can make you have an aneurysm and you'll bleed out right there. And he's telling me, like, these are your options. We can give you this, but it's dangerous. But if we don't give you this, you're stroking out. And I'm like, okay. But I do remember he said, well, if this doesn't work, we're going to life flight you to Memorial City, and we're going to slice you in your groin and go up and grab the clot. I'm like, nope. No, we're not doing that. No. You could go some other way. Just go through my. He's like, no.
Yeah.
It's a direct path. I'm like, no. No.
Wow.
So they gave me the clot buster, and I remember asking them, could I go to sleep because I was tired? And they said, yeah, that's fine. So I went to sleep, and the next thing I know, my girlfriend at the time had been there, and all of a sudden my face itched. So I reached up and scratched my face, and she goes, do that again. And I'm like, what's the big deal? So they called the doctor, and they said, well, the clot buster worked. So, and then they still life flighted me.
Oh, that was the side that you couldn't use.
I couldn't use, yeah. So they life flighted me over to Memorial City anyway. And my brain was still scrambled, so I had clients the next day, and I'm like, you know what? I think I'll probably be outpatient. They won't admit me. Everything's fine now. They'll whisk me over there, and I'll be out of here in a couple of hours and go back home.
I'm Superman. I'm immortal.
I'm coach. I'm not coming.
Yeah.
So they whisked me over there, and the lady says, okay, well, I was like, oh, so what time am I leaving? And she goes, you're not. I'm like, everything's fine now. And she goes, honey, your blood's the consistency of water right now. If you cut yourself, you're going to bleed out.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, so can that mean I'm leaving tomorrow? And she's like, no, we don't know why you had a stroke, but we're going to figure it out. So they had all these different specialists come in and stuff.
And how old were you at this time?
I was 44.
That's not old.
No. And they were saying, we don't understand how you're healthy and your cholesterol. And they did this long battery of tests from everything. They
had the results from MRI.
Yep.
Okay.
So they knew I had a stroke. They had no idea where it came from. So they gave me this long battery of tests. They tested parts I didn't even know I had. And like they come back 5 days later and said, you have a condition called non-compaction cardiomyopathy. What does that mean? He's like, we don't know. We didn't even know. We had to look it up. So they had a team of neurologists that said this came from your heart. So then we had to have the cardiac doctors come together with the neurologists, and they said, yeah, it's a very rare congenital heart abnormality where you have little sponge holes in your heart. I'm like, but I had a physical 3 days ago, or 3 weeks ago. And they were like, yeah, but the physical you had didn't catch it. So 3 weeks later, you had a massive stroke, and basically you're lucky to be alive. And I said, well, did I cause it? No. Could I have prevented it? No. And he's like, you were just born this way. And he goes, you should be very glad that you took care of yourself and that somebody was there to take care of you. Because if you were by yourself, you die.
Wow.
Period. Because what it was doing was so much and so fast that your body wouldn't have been able to keep up with it that long. And if you weren't healthy enough, you wouldn't even survive what you just went through. The clot buster would have probably taken you out, because they said the clot that it blew had a full blockage on the right. For most times, it's not full, so that's why you were paralyzed so quick. So
okay, so and they could see all that because they hadn't given you that, but they could see it on the MRI,
right.
so they knew. Okay.
So they say, okay, take these pills for the rest of your life, and and then you go looking at what you have, and you realize that it says between 8 to 12 out of every million people have what I have. So I guess my heart's special. But after that, the recovery, it's rough. I had to reteach myself how to count big numbers. I had to teach myself right from left.
Really?
Yeah. Like I couldn't. It's a little disconnects. Like you know right from left, but you can't. You have to think about
execute it naturally.
Right. It doesn't come quickly. My speech still messes up sometimes. You never really come back 100%. Like there's always something.
Sure.
I would have never known that.
But now,
Never known that.
Yeah.
I think you're doing pretty good.
But the good part is the physical part came back. That came back pretty quick, and that's why a lot of people who have strokes they have a lot of physical lasting injuries, because they're not healthy enough, and they didn't get there soon enough. So now you have to recover from not only the stroke, but try to get you weren't that healthy to begin with.
So will this medicine, though, that they put you on, it's helping your heart with all these that's going on in there now?
It won't ever fix it. I asked them, could they do surgery? They said it'll do more harm. You can't do a heart surgery and not have some kind of other effect from it. So basically, it thins my blood out so that the blood doesn't make these clots in these little sponge holes anymore. It doesn't fix the problem at all. So
you're treating the symptom, not the problem.
Yeah. So I had to. I was getting ready for a competition when it happened, and then afterwards.
Can you still compete?
Well, I asked them that when I was still screwed. I was like, "Hey, can I still compete?" They were like, "He's looking at me like, you an hour ago you couldn't move your left side." I know, I don't know. But
that was then. This is now.
Let's go.
And he said, "Well, the truth of the matter is we don't know. We've never had a stroke survivor who had what you had, the condition you have, and you're on blood thinners now. We don't know what will happen." He's like, "You'll be a guinea pig." And I was like, yeah, but what if I did? He's like, every time you compete, you'd be a guinea pig because we don't know. So you could go about doing a show, and then the next one, something happens, and it's only a pill that's keeping you from clotting. So, and I said, well, I'm willing to take that risk. I'm good. And then I went to my first leg day, and blood thinners are interesting. They make it so that like your blood is thinner. It's not like you're gonna cut yourself and bleed forever, but you can tell that your blood is different. Like I get cold quicker, and sometimes my blood sugar will drop. And the hardest part about it is, like if I squat down and stand up too fast, I get lightheaded, and it's just effects of taking this pill. And I thought that, man, I can overcome all of that. And I was working out with a friend of mine, shout out Travis, and we were doing leg press, and he decided to go a little heavier, and me having the ego, I wanted to keep up with him, and I couldn't. I started to get lightheaded and stuff. And then I began to bitch for the next 30 minutes that I couldn't do this and I couldn't do that. And he kind of just sat there and looked at me like, and I'm like, what are you looking at? And he goes, you're ridiculous. He's like, you just had a massive stroke. Like, and the only thing they really call a massive stroke is how much damage it does.
Yeah.
So he said, you walked out of that and you're doing better than 99% of other stroke survivors, and you're complaining because you can't do a leg press. And he put everything into perspective. So I'm like, you know what? Fine. I'm done with competing. But the downside of that is, imagine you spent your whole life. People ask me, like, what is it like? And I'm like, well, imagine if you built your whole home and your life and your career, and you have a picket fence and a nice, wonderful family. And then you hear a siren and a tornado's coming. And you got to run to the basement. And then 10 minutes later, something you didn't cause, you couldn't have prevented, has come and wiped your whole life out. And people say, oh, it's okay, you're still alive. You know, you should be looking at the right side, and you're here for a reason. And then you say, why? Why? Like, where do you go now? Everything you thought you had, you built over your life, is changed. And I'm in a stroke survivors group, and a lot of people felt the same way I did. I don't get emotional. You wish you didn't survive it. A big part of you wish you didn't survive it, because most of the time you're not young anymore, and you have to reinvent yourself and find something else, and you're not young anymore. And you try to figure out, you know, what is it? What's your purpose? Everybody tells you your purpose, and you're like, you don't understand. I don't want a purpose. I wish I didn't survive it. And a lot of these people, like, you know, it's tough. It's mental, and you go to a mental health provider. They
But look at what you're doing for the community today.
Right. So that's why I had people in the gym ask me, like, why did you start this? I said, I didn't start this because I felt like I was going to save other people. I started this to save myself, because I was suicidal at the time. My little sister just died, and
I'm sorry.
I felt like the more and more, like a death by 1,000 cuts. You got a stroke, and COVID hits, and your little sister dies, and you're like, you know what? You know? So I was like, how many days will I have to lay in bed and not take these blood thinners before I die? So I tried. So I sat there day after day, and I kept waking up. And I'm like, I thought this was supposed to be quick, you know? I kept waking up.
You still have more work to do.
I'm like, won't this just end? Like, I don't want to do this anymore, you know? And I kept waking up. And my friends back home kept calling me, and I kept ignoring the calls. And they kept calling, and I'm like, I don't want to do this. They asked me how I'm doing. I'm not good. And they didn't let me lay there. And one day, depression is rough. Depression is really, really bad, you know. I have a quote that I tell people. I say, be kind, because everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. So.
You're correct.
Yeah. I
wish everyone thought that way.
Yeah.
Most people do not.
Yeah. It's tough. And I laid there day after day, and I didn't want to do anything. And one day I woke up, and the trash hadn't been taken out in about a week, and the house was dark. And I don't know, I had this, I believe in God. I believe the universe is alive and the energy. And I felt the energy that was in this house. And I'm like, I got to get out this house. So I took my blood thinners and I said, okay, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Took
So
the first step, though.
I went to the car wash. And I washed my car. And I'm like, I went home in my office. It was all in shambles and stuff. And I had a broken lamp. And I went to Amazon and I bought this lamp. One of those little touch lamps. And I put it in. And I tell people that's the first moment in like a year and a half that I felt joy. Because I bought a new lamp.
Jeez.
And I was like, you know what? What if I just fix my office up? So I spent the next month fixing my office up. And in this time, I had applied for a VA loan. I was like, you know what? I want to start that gym that I wanted. And I didn't think it was going to go through. So I was like, well, maybe I'll just start streaming. I'll just build the office out. So I had the whole streaming set up. And right when I got it done, I got an email that said, your loan got approved. So I'm like, I'm going to own a gym.
Good.
And
Oh,
that's how Beastmode started.
oh, wow.
And then you tell
That's
people
quite
like,
a journey,
hey,
my friend.
yep. You tell people that, I don't know what you're going through, but I understand that you're going through it. I don't know the answer to what's going to fix you, but it's a lot harder by yourself.
Sometimes people just need other people to listen to them.
I would have died in that house if my friends didn't stop, and my sister didn't stop calling me. I had already told myself, like, I'm just going to lay here, and one day I'm not going to wake up, and everything will be all right, And I thought it doesn't go away. It's always there, kind of lingering, But I get to go to the gym, and they bug the hell out of me. And but along the way, maybe a year or so ago, I had this one of the members of the gym. He said, "Hey, I want you to see something," and he showed me his cell phone, and it was him ringing the bell because he just got done with his last cancer treatment. And he goes, "I was the weakest I was after that cancer treatment, but now I'm the strongest I've ever been because I've come to this gym. I just want to thank you." And he's off in college now.
That's
So
awesome.
I'm like, okay. Of all the time you want to quit and you feel like there's no other purpose, sometimes God sends you a little reminder of like, hey, this is why you're still here.
Oh, 100%. Yes. Okay, so what makes Beastmode Fitness different than other places?
I think the biggest thing is that
It's the people.
Alan's there.
The people, of course, yes.
I tell people I am a flawed, disturbed human being. But I realize that other people are too, And I think of gyms like churches. People go there seeking something. Whether you want to be a competitor or you want to get back fitter again or you want something to make you feel better. There's something about a gym that gives you a sense of purpose, like you feel better.
And there's common traits or a common thread that runs through that: discipline and commitment.
Yep.
Most people that go to gyms, they're disciplined and they're committed.
Yep.
I mean, my discipline is what carries me through the day most of the time because it's hard to stay motivated all the time. It is.
Yep. Yep.
So, I mean, you're a former athlete, so to be in that zone, you can only do that for so long. I mean, because I don't know how to describe it. It's when I used to race and when I played drums, I can only do it for like an hour or two, and then it takes too much out of me.
Yep.
It's a lot of energy.
Okay. Yeah.
But that's what we tell. That's what the biggest thing. You said the word motivation. I tell people when they come there, any client or any member, I'm like, I'm not here to motivate you.
That's an inside job.
Right.
You either have it inside
Right.
you or you don't. You're correct.
And I asked them, and they were like, "What do you mean?" And I'm like, "Can you drive a car?" And they'd be like, "Yeah." I'm like, I don't believe you. What do you mean I don't believe you? I don't believe you can drive a car. But I drove here. That don't mean you can drive. What kind of car do you drive? They tell me what kind of car. I don't believe you. And they look at me, and I'm like, Like, you know why you're looking at me like that? Right? Because you know you can drive a car. That's the difference between motivation and empowerment. Motivation is convincing somebody and reassuring they can do something, or you're saying over and over. Empowerment is there's nothing I can say to convince you that you can't.
Right.
So we're not here to motivate you. I want to empower you so that no matter where you go, no matter what gym you go to, you won't always be here. But no matter what gym you go to, you'll be like, you know what, I got this. Because I'm empowered, because I can drive a car.
Wow.
What? When people say they can or can't do something,
They're correct.
I believe them.
Right. Right.
Because they're right. Whatever
Right.
they believe, that's what they're going to achieve.
Yep. My,
Wow.
I believe the universe pops things up into your timeline or something when you need it. You know, two of them I remember. One, when I didn't want to go on anymore, this thing popped up on my Facebook, and it was this little laminated sign that somebody put on this pier, I guess where people had jumped before. And it goes, I know you don't want to exist right now, but there's someone who's very glad that you are. Stay for them. Right? And the other one was a quote from Muhammad Ali. He said, service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth.
For your loan here on earth.
For your room here on earth.
Here
Service
on
to
earth.
others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth.
Oh, for your room on.
So
On earth.
I tell people, you want to feel better, you want to feel like you belong anymore, you know, do something for someone else without any,
And don't keep score.
nope, and don't expect anything back.
Yep.
And what you get back will be greater than what you could have ever expected.
Yep. That's what the cosmos work. You're absolutely correct.
Yeah. I think anybody who really opens a gym for the right purpose thinks the same thing. They're not doing it because they want the money, because you're going to be broke for a while. This is a lie. It just is what it is. But, you know, along the way, you get those reminders that it's the service you're giving to others is the reason why you keep doing it.
There's a book that I onboard all of our agents with, and it's called The Go Giver, which is basically, it's giving to receive. Without keeping score, just you go out and help people, and you'll be amazed. It'll come back, just like you said.
And loaves. Yeah.
The more I give away, the more it comes back. It reciprocates. The hard part is learning to accept the reciprocation.
That was
So,
difficult.
Yeah, that's a lesson that I had to learn.
Yeah, right. 'Cause I felt like I didn't deserve the praise or the things. I'm just kind of like, yeah, but then they were like, no. If you're able to give and accept criticism, you should be able to give and accept praise. It's the same.
Tell them thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I've always been humble. No, I appreciate that, but I'm not that good. You know what I mean? But so that was a lesson in life that I had to learn myself.
I had a real problem with that. My girlfriend at the time, I was getting ready for my first bodybuilding competition, and I was coming down from being a power lifter. So I went from being like 275 down to like 230 something. And people kept telling me that I looked great and all this other stuff, but I'm like, nah, I'm not where I want to be. And they kept, every time somebody said something, I was just, disparaging toward myself. And she goes, why do you do that? Do you know what you're doing? She goes, if you tag something negative every time somebody says something positive to you,
Creates more negativity.
right, all you're doing is just feeding into your own insecurities. I'm like, okay. So now I'm like, thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Wow.
But it changes your whole mindset.
It does.
It does.
It does. It's about energy.
So your gym has to do the same thing for people that come in.
It's a vibe. It's energy. It's not you're not going to go in that place and feel like you're an outsider. You're not going to come to Beast Mode and be a lady and have people look at you like a sexual object. You're not going to.
That's huge in the gym.
I've in 3 years.
So many gyms, and I have one I go to now. I'm probably gonna go to yours now.
Yeah. It's the most, and I didn't.
It's not welcoming. It just feels like
Yeah.
I have to see people come in there with wheelchairs and they want to go
Yeah.
the next day.
Yeah.
It's crazy part about it is, I've never. It's I 100% believe in energy. There's never been a time where I had to go in there and say treat this person this way. but you know when you come in there, you feel it's different. And I just had a couple come in yesterday, and they were powerlifters. And they came in, they were like, you have this, you have that. And I was like, yeah, and I was showing them around. And I was talking to them. And one of them's doing social media, and I have these great social media influencers that taught me all. I'm old, man, so they taught me all this stuff. And he was showing me his social media, his reels that he does. I'm like, I can help you. I think you need to do this and this. And I showed him my reels, and since he's been helping me, I'm getting like 30,000, 100,000, 200,000 likes on the reels that I've been doing.
That's huge.
Check out Beastmode Fitness on IG.
Yeah, I saw it.
Right.
Over 2,200 followers on
Yep.
Instagram. That's
So
great.
we're growing, and thanks.
That's awesome.
Wow.
So they've changed my whole thought process on how to do social media, because the simplest thing they told me is people don't go to social media to be educated. They go to be entertained. Mm-hmm. If you can educate them in the process, or say something that makes them like you, then they'll start following you. I'm like, that's all I gotta do? I'm just gonna be silly. I'm gonna be me. So
some of the reels, it's the damnedest things.
Yeah.
He videotaped me hammering a stake into the ground,
Right.
and I'm thinking to myself, I don't even know why Jake's doing this.
Right.
And that was one of my best reels ever.
I love that.
Thousands
reel.
and thousands.
I love that
Well,
reel.
Well, the one where I couldn't get the sign on.
Yes, I know.
Well,
I saw it.
I also
I did.
posted a meme, and that had got over 3,000 views, and those two are our highest viewed.
You mean the one
videos
of
on
the
our YouTube channel
videotaping
right
me
now.
coming in here was nice?
Oh no, well that's on my vlog.
Yeah.
But
it's
yeah, people think that's funny. But that's the thing. That's you have to be professional and entertaining, and that's what's hard. Like no one comes on Instagram like I want to learn about real estate.
No.
Most
No,
people
they don't.
don't do that. They're just not going to do that. That's why you got to make it entertaining and funny, and that's what branding really is. You know?
because it's a way different kind of, like, you would see these businesses like McDonald's or something like that they've learned this way before reels. Their commercials, they get athletes and they make it entertaining and you can relate to them. Hey, that makes you want to go buy that McRib. Right?
Yeah.
But you have a business that's like a brokerage firm or you know, a lawyer, and it would be very buttoned up. But what's the biggest lawyer in town that you think of?
Jim Adler.
And you remember him because of his hammer, because it's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
People
something
remember.
about it that's appealing because it's so over the top.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what social media is when it comes to like your reels and stuff. It's the things that make you laugh or make you want to watch it over again. Those are the ones you remember. So
Speaking of branding and that, if they want to come to your gym, where is your location and what is the best way for them to connect with you?
we are right behind Katy Mills Mall, right next door to the Urban Air. It's
Okay.
It's 25311 Kingsland Boulevard, Suite 120. The best way to get in touch with us is a couple of ways. You can call our business phone number, or on our Instagram, there's our address, and you can click on there and get a free week pass, and you can send us messages and stuff like that. It's checked all throughout the day. So those are the best ways to get in contact with us.
And he is tagged, and we got the phone number.
Yes.
Great.
I'll put the phone number in, but he is tagged. Yeah, we
Thank you.
check him out.
And the gym's 24 hours. So, with even when you sign up for your 1 week, you can come whenever you want. There's a police presence and everything, and it's a real secure place. It's I don't know how things like that come about, where there's an environment and a culture there now that is greater than me, you know, and people come there because they feel like it's a home away from home. So it's way different than any commercial gym or box gym.
Well, buildings, they're just that. They're buildings. This is just wood, sheetrock, lights.
Yep.
It's the people that make it the business
Yep.
and the home and it's the people.
Yeah, and that's hard to find in a gym.
Yep.
It's that home feeling, you know.
I remember the gym that I was at before. It didn't end well, and I told myself that when I create my gym, I will never make anyone feel like the owner of the other gym made me feel when I left. You know, so that's when I was building out. I would go in there in the morning, and I'd lock myself in there until 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and that's when I've learned that no building, the flooring's not perfect. The walls always do this, So you put these mats down, and one side's even and the other side's not. Don't ever do that. But after a couple of weeks of being in there by yourself, like I told myself, I want to create this to be everything that I didn't like in other gyms is not going to be here.
Okay, so what does that look like now?
It's when you come in, if you want to use your cameras or something, you can. But it's more like listen, if you were on the other side and somebody else was filming, would you want to be in there? No.
Yeah.
The ladies, they come in, they do their thing. The women's bathroom has scrunchies and sanitary stuff for ladies, and the men's bathroom has Axe body spray. I told them to use it, deodorant. Like,
so your gym doesn't smell like a gym, is what you're saying?
No, we have diffusers and plug-ins and stuff. It's effort. If you're a small gym, it don't have to be dirty. It's just effort, and it comes from the top. And if they say what you accept, you condone, and we don't accept it. I've had very few people that I've had to kick out, but I have no problem. I'm good at it. Like, you ain't got to go home, but most of the time, people understand that it's different.
You don't fire the client. You just deliver the news.
Oh.
They fired themselves.
I used to, but they were like, you need to sit back and be an owner. We'll take care of this. And I'm like, because my hatchet is fast. Like,
right.
But we have a unique group of people. We have I think the oldest members in their 70s.
That's
and
awesome.
I think that the youngest one, it was his birthday yesterday. I said he's 13. He's like, I'm not 13, I'm 16. So I think the youngest one is 16 and the oldest one is in their 70s.
I hope I'm in my 70s Googling and looking up a Beastmode gym. That's a cool person that does that.
He works out more than I do now. Now that I have a gym, I work out less than I ever have. My workout's picking up other people's weights. So I'm working out every day. But it's different. I mean, I think that I have a lot of friends that compete and they have their pro cards, and it was tough because I realized that I was never going to have one. And it's something that I strive for a long time. And
but you have a higher purpose.
Yeah. So one of my friends who's a pro, shout out Brandon, he came to the gym one day, and a little bit after we opened, and I was like, I have to live vicariously through you now. He goes, I have a lot of friends. He goes, I have a lot of friends that have their pro cards. I don't have a whole lot of friends that have gyms. He's like, he's like, your path is different. You should be proud of what you've done. And I'm like, he goes, you know, you would have got your pro card, but this is way bigger than that. So that was the moment I was just kind of like, you know what? He's right.
Yeah.
He's right.
I agree. Yeah.
It's a bigger purpose. It's a headache. But
And so right now you're offering some things.
yeah, we have we're starting up a free. We still have the free week. They're going to run that all the way through March, and we're
Take advantage of it.
We're
1
setting
week
up
free.
a swing in the spring. I think that's what we're going to call it. It's a challenge because we all know you're not going to come to the gym and work out in the summertime. That's what we do in the winter and the spring, so we can get puffy during summertime and during the holidays. So we're working on that now, and we're going to put that out here in the next week or so, what that looks like. But it's going to be a discounted challenge and stuff like that. So
Awesome.
we're also trying to do a car show, but people
More
at
to
car
come.
shows are kind of picky, so we're trying to figure out the best time to do that before the summer.
I need to put in a quick plug. Our blood drive is going to be March 8th at the Ballard House from 1 to 5:30 p.m. We run out of blood every day in Houston. So please, even if you don't support our blood drive, support any blood drive that you can go to.
It saves so many lives. It really
It saves a lot of lives. We have 15 or 16 people already registered. Our goal is to have the bus full the whole time. So we need another 15 to 20 people. So if anybody listening, please sign up. We'll put the link in this as well.
Yes, definitely. But yeah, thank you so much for coming out. That was
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
No,
Thanks for having
thank
me.
you for sharing your
Incredible
story. That was
great.
very, very
Strive to be
touching.
happy.
Yes.
It's not easy, but strive to be happy.
All right.
But yeah.
We'll
Thanks,
see you guys next week. Thank you
Thank
so
you for
much,
having me.
Allen.
Thank you.